Okay, I got a great question for you guys today, and it's how do I stop flinching when people punch me? In particular, if someone's throwing a punch towards my face, how do I stop that automated reaction of closing my eyes, even looking away, and my whole body freezing up and not doing anything? Because I understand that it's not productive, that it's not useful, and it's not going to benefit me in the fight, but I just can't seem to help it, and it just seems to happen all the time. It's a great question. Everyone goes through this. It's very normal. In terms of getting over it or getting past it, it never really truly goes away completely. You can find brilliant still frame captures of fights of the best fighters in the world punching with their eyes closed or being punched with their eyes closed. And it all manifests for a good reason, in the sense that it is genetically imprinted into us. So the first thing is to understand why it happens, and then we can start looking at how we can combat it. The main reason that this occurs, especially the whole eye closing, turning, and feeling that sense that your body is frozen for that moment, you can't move. It's to do with our fight or flight response. So this is our genetically imprinted response to danger, and it's kept us safe as a species for generations and generations and generations. The idea being that the caveman, whatever we want to say, Paleolithic man, he sees the saber-toothed tiger, and he has a very instantaneous and automated response to decide whether he's going to stand and fight it or if he's going to run away from it and live to fight another day. And it was the ability to make this quick, very snappy decision that saved us from predators for generations and generations. And it has stayed within us. Now, in our modern day lives, we experience fight or flight very rarely. And it's this lack of exposure to this automated system that makes it very difficult when it does pop up for you to understand and know when it's useful, if it should be operating right now. What's also very rarely mentioned is that it's actually not just fight or flight. There's a third one, which is what you are really experiencing in the fight, which is freeze. You hear about the animals. I'm trying to remember what it is. I want to say it's a possum. Feel free to comment below if you know what it is. There's a couple of examples of animals that play dead when they see predators. They freeze. They stop moving. You think back to Jurassic Park. I love that example where they say it can only see you if you're moving. Stay completely still. So there is this built-in response, this safety response, that if there's danger, if there's a threat, that you completely freeze and then wait for the danger to pass and you'll be safe. Again, not really very useful in a fight. Not the ideal response, but a very common one for people who get into that experience. And again, you're not controlling that reaction. It just happens to occur to you. In terms of how to deal with it and how we can get past it, the real thing is enough exposure to it that we no longer let it become an automated response, or at least that we adjust the automated response to be something more useful. So at the moment, your automated response is effectively a protection mechanism. The closing of the eyes, it's to protect and prevent your eyes from being damaged. The turning away and the shelling in, again, it's to protect vital organs. Yes, we cover ourselves with our arms, we raise our shoulders to protect our neck. This is all built in against predators, not against a combative opponent. And again, may be useful against a tiger. If we can cover our neck and we can get our arms in front of our chest, maybe momentarily we can survive an attack. However, against someone who is calculated in punching and kicking at you, not the best response ever. Like everything else, the real trick with this is drills. It's a trickier thing to drill because what you're going to be effectively asking for is someone to repeatedly throw punches at your head. And we know, studies are coming out more and more about head damage and the issues with concussion, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist or a brain surgeon to work out that being hit repeatedly in your brain is probably not the best thing for you. However, what we do need is the stimulus of something being thrown towards our face so that we can train ourselves out of that automated flinch. The other thing that we need to obviously develop is our ability to defend intelligently. So things such as working on your guard, on your head movement, and on your footwork. It will provide you with a deeper level of confidence, and confidence is a great tool against these automated safety reactions. If you feel confident and you feel safe, you then don't engage these automatic systems straight away. The more fear you have, the more anxiety, the more adrenaline, the more likely you are to bring on these automated responses and reactions. Now, you don't necessarily need someone to be punching and kicking at you. It is an option. For example, the option, if someone is going to punch and kick at you, stand at a wall so that you don't have anywhere to go, so that the footwork for the time being isn't an option, and get them to work lightly, starting slow and then building up in pace, so that you can practice defending, blocking, and head movement without going away from the punches. You stay in the fire and you get used to the heat. You get comfortable with being hot. That's the first way. What you'll see a lot of people practicing with is the foam tubes that you get from swimming pools. Cut one in half, give it to the partner, and let the partner attack you with them. So again, really what we're looking at here is just stimulus. It's something coming towards you that you can then work on your reaction and how you choose to respond on it. Countering is really the game that you're looking to develop, because not only do we not want to get hit, but we want to hit our opponent. Yeah, how do we win in a striking match? It's don't get hit by your opponent and hit your opponent. If you do both of those things in tandem, you're winning the fight. So not only do we want to be able to keep our eyes open, keep our face towards our opponent so that we can see what's coming, but we want to deal with what's coming, whether it be to block it, to dodge it, to avoid it, and then throw something back in its space, capitalizing hopefully on an opening you've created whilst they were attacking you. So work with partners. The real thing is you need partners to work this. It's a very, very difficult thing to train on your own. You can work on your defense and shadow boxing, and you can work in your counters in your own space and on a bag and all the rest of it. But the reality of it is if you're trying to get better at dealing with someone punching you, you need someone to punch you more often so that you can get used to it. If we want to avoid being hit in the head, again, the use of very large gloves, 16 plus ounces, headgear, gum shields, and a good partner who really understands how to be able to control their power while still developing a good amount of speed and having a good level of intensity, that's going to be a great person to work with. If you don't have that situation, anybody with two foam sticks who can swing them at you at different directions and at different speeds is going to work just as well. Practice head movement, practice your guard, and really just try to actively engage in the ability to look at your opponent, look at what's coming at you, and just it'll come over time. Again, it's not an instant fix. There isn't a quick fix for this. This is something that you will develop through years and years of training. It's a frustrating thing to work on, but the more confidence you build, the less likely you are to get into that fight, flight, or freeze mechanism, and the more likely you are to be able to make a decision. Not to mention, you're going to build up your automatic reactions by building up muscle memory and building in these routines for what you do when someone throws a punch, throws a kick, etc.